Okay, commutative property, these are the notes from April 8th. Commutative property works for addition and multiplication. So 5 plus 3 is the same as 3 plus 5, and 5 times 3 is the same as 3 times 5. Okay, associative property is the order of the numbers or letters stays the same, and only the grouping changes. So in the first one, it's 2 plus 3 plus 5, and the second one is 2 plus 3 plus 5. But we group the 2 plus 3 together. That gives us 5 plus 5, which is 10, or 2 plus 8, which is also 10. So they're the same answer. So that's associative property. On the times problem, we have 6 times 5, which is the same as 2 times 15. So 30 equals 30. Okay, distributive property is 7 times quantity x minus 3. So you're going to multiply the 7 to everything inside the parentheses. So then you get 7 times x minus 7 times 3. So that equals 7x minus 21. Okay, then we're going to go into inverses. The additive inverse means that two numbers added together equals 0. So if I have the number 5, 5 plus what number, which would be the additive inverse, equals 0. So the answer is negative 5. So negative 5 is the additive inverse of 5. It's usually just known as the opposite sign, but they will ask for that on the CST. Additive inverse just means the opposite sign, and if you add the two numbers together, it'll equal 0. Okay, multiplicative inverse is timesing. You have a number times a number equals 1. So if we have 1/2, to make it equal 1, we multiply by 2 over 1. Because 1/2 times 2 over 1 gives us 2 over 2, which is 1. So multiplicative inverse is also known as the reciprocal. So if you have 4/3 or negative 4/3, the multiplicative inverse would be negative 3/4. And if you multiply that, you get negative 12 divided by negative 12, which is positive 1. Okay, based on the two properties of inverses, there's only additive inverse and multiplicative inverse. We have x plus 9 equals 16. So in order to solve it, we either use the additive inverse or we use the multiplicative inverse. Because it's adding, we're going to use the additive inverse. And we would subtract 9. So that's minus 9 to get the answer. On example 2, 11/3 y equals 45. Between the additive inverse and the multiplicative inverse, this would be the multiplicative inverse because it's 11/3 times y. And the inverse of 11/3 is 3/11. So you have to put both these answers down. Example 3, y minus 33 equals 66. Okay, this would be using the additive inverse, and the opposite of negative 33 is positive 33. And example 4, 84 equals 1/4 n. Okay, there's no adding or subtracting there, so we're going to be using the multiplicative inverse. And the reciprocal of 1/4 is 4 over 1.